This is the way to Nenyure, a place that is now a graveyard. Time goes by strangely, sluggishly in Nenyure. All things in Nenyure reflect its increasing decadence. In every corner you will see absence. Absence of friends, neighbors, of years that time forgot. Nenyure has become a dry, lifeless territory, drowned by infinite solitude. The windows on buildings here are like empty mouths. They will no longer pronounce words. They will no longer shout. They look like eyes with blinds for eyelids, peeping furtively at the exterior emptiness. I mean those that haven't shuttered away routine. At times, I've wondered whether they dream. These windows, I've often thought, resemble niches, narrow tombs inhabited by life's dead ones. The front row of buildings looks over the corpse of the mine, an immense mass grave upon which Nenyure's prosperity was built and then sacrificed. It's now taken over by weeds that feed off its eternal standstill. Buried and sealed tightly below the surface, among the sterile abandoned galleries where its inhabitants once labored, lie the past, present, and future of Nenyure. Even today, when the mine has been forever silenced, I can feel the glass vibrate from the blasting below. And sometimes I get that feeling miners speak of often, the sensation that today will be the last. So to commemorate this past, a memorial was set in the center of Nenyure, dedicated to all the deceased miners that were buried alive and found early death. Behind it, built over the remains of the old lumber yard, where miners found refuge from the charging police during strikes, stands a modern university campus. This gigantic pantheon is made of concrete, iron, glass, and cement. Its appearance blends easily with the surrounding funerary elements of Nenyure. Nenyure used to be in no man's land, a far stretch from the downtown. Now it seems as if Nenyure had extended, grown, but it's actually the city that is separated, moving closer to Nenyure as if drawn by the disease of its failure. Someday the ground will roar for the last time and devour the surface that has been scratching at its bowels. Sunny days are vertical, smothered by the quietude of the air. The taller buildings proudly scrape into the sky. They convey a mixture of majesty, terror, and vertigo, something comparable to the contemplation of mysterious ruins that could not have been created by human hands. Nevertheless, gray days are more frequent. They pass over Nenyure, giving it the flat, dense look of a charged atmosphere. Chilling wind blows throughout its playgrounds. It seems to have traveled miles before finding anyone. And when it it rains, it looks as if the thousands of windows were crying. Upon entering Nenyure, there was once a vacant lot. On it stood a couple of trees, surrounded by bushes and weeds growing in the sand. Then they built a school there. Once, the schoolyard was full of children, but now there is only a handful of them, and the streets have turned gloomier. Very few of my old friends live around here anymore. They seldom return, but to visit relatives that still live in Nenyure. If we ever run into each other then, we'll say things are going just fine. If there's time for it, we might dust off a few old memories and promise to give each other a call someday. This rarely happens. Not everyone has left Nenyure, but those still around dream of moving somewhere better, someday. Night falls over Nenyure like a bad dream, and old ghosts come to life among the shadows for a few hours. It's then that the emptiness is more present than ever, and all my fears take shape. Nenyure suffocates, choking me by burying my life in its death-like silence. I look at the street and I can't see myself there anymore. I must leave before I find that I am stuck here forever. This is Nenyure, a graveyard.